Hey y'all, hey. We are back for another review of Sisters on BET. Um, I had missed the last two episodes. I went back and watched them, but I didn't get around to reviewing them. So y'all know how this go. Y'all know how this toxic YouTube relationship goes. So we're just gonna jump back in like nothing ever happened. All right. Okay, cool. So we are on season 4, episode 8, and what I have deduced is this one is very juicy and there's a lot to go through. So this video might be a little bit long, and this is kind of the intensity I've been waiting for from this season. So let's just jump right in and just, my normal disclaimer. If I'm looking over to the right, it's because these are where my notes are and I can't remember shit. Okay. All right. So let's go. So we are in the wake of Karen telling the Sister Circle girls that she is pregnant. She just, lets it fall out of her mouth in episode 7. So everybody's just looking like, okay, girl. And then you know how we do as women. She just goes into asking the obvious questions like, okay, well, not her, but Danny. Danny goes on to start asking the questions that need to be answered. Cause girl, okay, you pregnant. Let's get to the rest of it. So Danny goes on to ask her, you keeping the baby? Of course she is. She keeping the baby. Danny goes on to also ask her who's the daddy, and then she realizes like I be asking the questions y'all don't want to ask, but Danny strikes again, and she's getting the answer that nobody else is trying to ask because they want to coddle Karen in this moment and see if she's okay and all these other things that are applicable. But now that we know that you're fine, who the baby daddy? So Danny asks if she keeping it, and then Karen is just shocked, appalled, and offended that Danny would go so far as to ask her who that baby daddy is. And girl, um, why? Let's talk. Why are you in your bag about asking who your baby daddy is? Because if I'm not mistaken, you slept with Zach and Aaron at this, approximate similar time frames, if I'm not mistaken. So, girl, no need to be offended. Um, anyway, she proclaims and declares that Zach is that baby pappy, and I'm not really sure how you sure that Zach's that baby pappy when you ain't been to nobody's doctor. You don't know if you 3 weeks or 3 months, girl. You don't know how pregnant you are. So you're proclaiming a father. Red flag. But yeah, so she ain't been to nobody's doctor, and she's proclaiming that Zach is that baby's pappy. And I don't know why I keep saying pappy. It's hilarious to me. So now we're worried because Fatima is getting out of the car, and you know what? It took the girls a little bit too long to realize, particularly Andy, it took them a little bit too long to realize that this was a setup because Karen was insisting that Fatima shows up, and she insists. Why is Fatima important to your pregnancy announcement, girl? Because you had an ulterior motive. You claim you don't, but we know you in your bag about the fact that Zach has leveled up and you didn't get to experience the levelization. But it's all right. I know that ain't a word. Anyway, and girl, it's gonna be okay. Just relax. Let's just break it down. But now we're all worried that Fatima is basically on the elevator. She's there, and we all just the light bulbs just went off, and we realized that this is a setup. This is a setup, and Karen wants to rub this in that girl's face, and this ain't gonna go well because not only is Fatima strapped, so is Karen. What we're not about to do is get into a shootout because Karen won't be vindictive. So we worried, and so Andy is gonna run interference and catch Fatima. Even though Danny said, no, let it play out. It's gotta happen. Let it play out. Andy goes to meet Fatima at the elevator and kind of give her a warning, like, girl, I didn't know this is why she wanted you here. I don't know what you know, but we're here. Just keep it cool. So yeah. And Karen claims, I'm not going to ambush her with the information. I'm going to fill her out and see what she knows thus far. Bullshit, child. And so, we're coming in. We all know that Karen has something up her sleeve. Karen, they're standing there talking at the elevator, and Fatima is there in all black, and she's ready for whatever could possibly happen at this moment. And Karen drops the bomb. I'm pregnant. And, in in true classy Fatima fashion, she says, "Oh, girl, I already do. Congratulations." So now that took away, that trump card that you had, Karen, and she said she already knows. Boom. And then Fatima goes on to tell her, she pretty much takes it with grace, like, "Oh, girl, I already know. Zach already told me. Congratulations. What else is new?" That's the energy that Fatima was giving me, and I appreciated it. And she takes, pretty much takes away Karen's trump card and is like, "Girl, you thought you ate. Give me that plate. You thought you ate, Karen. You thought you was gonna get up under Fatima's skin with that little bit of information." And Fatima was like, "Girl, I already knew the information." And there's a lesson in that. Hold on. The lesson in that is Zach and Fatima. Girl, what was the lesson? Okay, so the lesson is that Zach and Fatima demonstrated effective communication in that moment. Let me tell you why. Because she had the information before Karen could weaponize it. So when she showed up to the scene, she was like, "I already know, what this broad is about to do." But the great part is, her and Zach had already talked it out. So it was like, you can't tell me nothing I already know. So, that's a lesson in relationship, I guess. Like, if the information is already given to you, when somebody comes to bring it to you, as a weapon, as a, "Oh, let me tell you this is tea," or whatever their motive is, girl, you got to know the information. Like, okay, even if it's hard to hear or whatever the information is that's being presented, girl, I already know. So, anything else you need from me? Which was the vibe that Fatima was giving. I appreciate it. I support this message, and Karen, go to hell. All right. So Karen claims that Zach. So in this moment, Karen is feeling real played. Like, dang, I was trying to hurt this girl. I was trying to get up under her skin. Now I got to do something, to one upper to get back, because I'm still in my bag about Zach living it up. This is my train of thought. So she makes up this preposterous or something, this preposterous claim that, okay, well, since you and Zach communicate so much and you know everything, do you know that he calls me every day? Girl, shut your ass up. Do you know that he calls me every day? And again, Fatima, Fatima, bosses up and lets her know, "Baby girl, he calls you every day." Well, that's interesting, because I have the passwords to his phone and your name never comes up in the call log. Boom. So there's no proof to support this accusation, baby. I know it's not a word either, but there's no evidence to support the accusation. And she also, still trying to have a pissing match with Fatima, and Fatima's not interested. And she says, "Fatima, do you also know that he has another phone?" She was like, "Yeah, and I got the password to that one too." Boom, girl, she is checkmating you like none other. And at that point, I would have just took my loss. Like, girl, listen, I was trying to be messy. That's really the gist. And she gets to that point, but Karen got to be Karen. So, she ensures, what she's trying to do is get to a pissing match with Fatima, and she tells Fatima, well, we already know that this is Zach's baby, so he's going to be his child's life, so we don't need to have issue. And Fatima confirms, you are absolutely correct. We won't have issues, but a lot can happen in 9 months. With that Fatima, I don't give a fuckery about it type attitude. And she means what, and so Karen takes it personal. "Well, what do you mean? Are you threatening me?" And what she says is, "No. What I'm saying is anything could happen. Me and Zach are new, and anything could happen within 9 months." I may basically said, I may or may not still be in the picture. And Danny's over there like, "Girl, y'all know y'all really feeling each other, so y'all gonna make it, so basically cut the shit." And Fatima's like, "Yeah, you didn't let me finish. We're both sure that we're going to, but anything is probable." But since we're talking about probabilities, wouldn't it be safe for us to go, proceed forward with a paternity test? And, legit concern, because, girl, we don't know who this baby daddy is at this particular juncture. We don't even know how far along you are. So this is pretty early in the realm of, we need to get along. We don't need to have no problems while you continuously try to create problem, Karen. But okay, we'll go with it. All right, so Karen, I guess Karen realizes, like, Fatima's not gonna go back and forth with me. She ain't with it. She already know everything there is to tell her. So let me just let it go. And Karen, yes, Just let it go, baby. Just let it go. Just move on. Let Aaron love you, girl. Just be the first lady and just relax. Cause it's giving Desperate Housewives. It's giving a lot. It's giving something I'm not interested in. So she apologized. Karen apologizes for telling the lie about Zach calling her every day, and she admits that she really just wanted to hurt Fatima, and that she hates that Zach wants to do good now. So, boom, that's the moral. Karen is butthurt about the fact that Zach has become, he's done a 180. He has become this grand person that she never got to experience. And Fatima empathizes with her and lets her know, I've been through the same thing, and I understand. I understand that we've done a lot, to build these men up to be where we want them to be, just for another woman to reap the benefits. It happens. There's literally nothing. It's not Fatima's fault. There's nothing she could do about it. But she wishes her the best and ensures that if and when the baby is proven to be Zach's, that her child will never be in harm or mistreated in any way under Fatima's care, which is all you can really hope for in this situation, because it's all right. It's okay, which goes to another point. When y'all be trying to bash these men to other women or the next woman or the world or whatever these your situation is, just because they mollywop your ass, or maybe mollywop is strong. Maybe because your experience with that person is not the same experience with the next person. So it's okay to let it go. Share your experience, but don't be so sure that your experience is going to be the next person's experience. That was the moral. That's what I got out of that scene. And the Karen, she got to let it go. She got to realize that wasn't the phase that her and Zach was in, and she can't reap the benefit now. It's too late. That ship is sailed, baby. It's all right. Just hope he could be a good baby daddy, if he the baby daddy. That's it. That's all. All right, moving right along. All right, so Danny asked her to stay, and lets her know, like, child, you part of the family now. You might well stay. And they're talking and they welcome her to the sister circle, and the Zach talk ensues, and we get a better look at the contrast between what Fatima and what Karen experienced with Zach, and we ain't talking about it no more. It's time to move on. And Danny, in Danny fashion, she busting out the herbage, and they continue on with the chopping it up. Talking about everybody's individual vices, woes, whatever it may be. And Karen is just, God, she has apologized, but she is just sulking around while everybody else is laughing and talking and having a good old time. She over there with her arms crossed, and I'm just tired. Girl, go home. You is ruining the mood over here, looking like you about to cry every 5 seconds. So, she's sulking around, and I just want her to go home. Honestly. So, moving right along, Jake calls Zach, and he apologizes for Gary's behavior in the last episode. Gary had an attitude, and Gary was also trying to get Zach to run interference and get Fatima to hook him back up with Andy. Gary, go to hell. And this episode further confirms that Gary can go to hell for me. But I'm going to get there. Hold on. So, Jake apologizes for Gary's behavior, and he also reminds Zach that he's been flagged in some places, and some antennas have been raised because of his newfound wealth due to the stock that took off. And he tells him that he needs to diversify his profile, as buying some stocks that'll win, buying some that'll lose, just to kind of throw the investigators off his trail, and that he's so willing to help. Also, red flag, because Jake, you're giving out a lot of assistance for somebody that just met Zach. But we're gonna get into that a little bit too. Just hold your jaws. All right. So Fatima gets back home, and she briefs Zach on the whole ordeal, and they're briefing each other on their particular woes, and we're gonna move right along. All right. So this particular scene also pisses me off. All right, so let's get into it. Aaron calls Karen, and after some small talk, he what he had done on his own is he did a little math, he did a little backtracking, and as far along as we don't know how far along she is, but as far along as he thinks Karen is, gives him hope that there's a glimmer of hope that he could possibly be this baby daddy, right? He getting his hopes up. He's like, he may, the baby could be mine. Let's just wait on paternity. Let's get to the doctor and let's see what's gonna happen. And so he also goes a step further and tells Karen that even if the baby ain't mine, I'm excited. I'm willing to support you. All the things that you would want to hear as a potential single mother, right? Wrong. Not for Karen, because Karen tells him, don't get your hopes up. Basically, don't get your hopes up. This is Gary's baby. I don't want to string you along, but this is Gary's baby. Just really not really hearing what he's saying. And with the way that things are going between you and Zach, I would think you'd hope that Aaron would be the daddy because he's a little bit more willing and available and probably giving you a little bit more what you need in this particular place in your life, but you still so stuck on Zach. You can't see that Aaron is trying to be all he can be. But you a little baby unknown. So that's really annoying because she's so busy over here worried about Zach. She ain't worried about what Aaron's saying. And so that, kind of took the wind out of his sails. But child, to be continued, I guess. All right. Moving right along. Everybody has gone home for the evening. And moving right along. Andy, everybody has gone home for the evening, and Andy finds an iPad in her brand new penthouse that Gary has not only purchased for her, he has put it in her name, has moved all her stuff in there, arranged things how he knows she likes it. And it's a message on that iPad or what a tablet, whatever the hell it is a message from Gary. And I'm not gonna hold you. I hate that minute, but it was cute. It was cute. He really did that. He still wanted to give her space while also giving her the grand tour. So he tells her, walk with me. It's a video. He's like, walk with me while I show you, where your things are. If you don't like the feng shui of it all, I get somebody to come and redo it for you. Look in the freezer. This is tons of your favorite ice cream. Just think of me. Blah, blah, blah. Whoop-de-whoop. Romance, romance, romance. Just landing on real thick or whatever. And there's two choices at the end of the video. And, if you want me to come by, you can click yes, come over, and I'll get a message and I'll be there. If not, you got the night is yours. The penthouse is yours. Enjoy yourself. So now, he done laid it on so thick, girl, shopping spree, Bentley or whatever the car is, the penthouse. And, he trying to buy back the love of his life. And Andy is just outdone. And the only thing about it is you had to threaten and threaten and threaten and threaten and almost get shot and threaten and physically fight and threaten and all of these things to get all of the magic and splendor that you've been asking for all these years that y'all been side piecing around. Don't really make it a prize to me, but go off, sis. Click the button so he can come on over, blow your back out, and y'all can get back in the same cycle. Because I don't even care no more, because y'all get on my nerves as well. Okay, so moving right along. This is where shit gets premeditated for me. Okay, wait. So Gary calls Zach and apologizes for his earlier behavior, and to tell him that Jake's going to come over and tell him what circles his name is in and what he needs to look out for and what's happening, and that he needs to take some money out and set it aside, because if things get too bad, at least he'll have cash. Cash is king. So Gary knows something. Hold on to that piece of information, right? And so, Zach's like, all right, cool, whatever. But he also, in that conversation, continues to kind of poke and prod. What? Poke and prod? Poke and prod. And ask him, like, are you sure? Like, What did you get? Like, still trying to low key get information about how Zach knew about the stock without like outright asking him like, how did you know? And Zach's not crazy. He's like, okay, I just knew. What else? What else you want? All right, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, right? As let me sit up in my seat. As Gary hangs up the phone with Zach, Hayden brings his broke down, crippled ass in the office. And that did it for me. You hear me? That did it for me. So Hayden walks in the office, and Hayden and Zach, what I realized in that moment is Hayden and Zach are working together. So somehow or another, I feel like Gary is a plant he's been planted into the basketball game, because that's how the two, that's how him and Zach met, right? So Hayden walks in. Hayden and Gary are working together. And what's happening is, I knew something wasn't quite right, but this just kind of bundles it up for me. So Gary has Hayden watching Andy at the office, which is how he knows a whole lot of stuff. And Gary is watching Zach for Hayden. So they co-conspiring in this thing. Y'all keeping up? So Gary and Hayden know each other. Obviously, Gary has a lot of information on Hayden, which is why Hayden has to watch Andy for him. And in turn, Gary has to watch Zach for Hayden. Got it? All right. So, they're supposed to be watching their prospective targets at this point. And Hayden just can't let go of the fact that he's been defeated in this whole situation, and he needs Gary to apply pressure. He needs to understand where Zach is tipped from, and yeah. So Jake comes in, and I wasn't able to pinpoint whether Jake knew exactly what Hayden's role in it is, but we've deduced that he don't really like Hayden, but he's here for Gary. So I don't know if he's in on the full extent of the Zach takedown situation. I'm not sure yet, because he walked in after the conversation, but the jury's still out on Jake. All right. So, yeah. So we are gonna jump back to the bank. Maurice is about to open the door, and Q the bank robber jumps out the bushes. First of all, I'd have molly watched you, because, sir, why are you jumping out the bushes on me? You done robbed me one time at this establishment. Why are you here? He ought to beat the hell out of him, because why? Why are you here? Anyway, but what we learned is Q has put Maurice down as his home of record. Justice people down at the jailhouse. Why didn't y'all confirm with Maurice that that's where this man gonna be staying before y'all put that man address on them people parole paperwork? Why? And he also lets Maurice know that his ankle monitor is going to expire in an hour, and if he is not at Maurice's house, which is the home that is on his paperwork, that he's going back to jail. And so, sir, why are you trying to force me to let you live with me? And he's just begging, and Maurice stands firm. All right, so Maurice is firm in his no to Q, and Sabrina walks up at the same time, and she tells him that she's about to call the cops, and Maurice shoos him off. I can tell that Maurice is still struggling with his no, you can't stay there, but ultimately he tells him he can't stay there, so now Q is gone off to rob somebody else, I guess. I don't know. All right, so moving on. Jake shows up at Zach's and tells him that the SEC, I don't know what that stands for, somebody's commission, is inquiring about his stock wins and blah blah blah, and tells him, hey, how did you know? Still inquisitive about how did you know about the stock wins. And Zach says, hey, I've been following that stock for quite some time now. Nothing's going on. He was like, oh yeah, so what were their projections into that? What were their margins in 2015? And he's him in a horn because he don't know. And then he was like, what about 6 months ago? And Zach still is him in a horn. He don't know. He's like, well, Zach, I need to do some research. I need to prepare you. I don't want to know how you know about the stock because, obviously it's sketchy, but I need you to be prepared for when these SEC people come questioning you. So we need to prepare. However, in that moment, the investigator walks in and places Zach under arrest. And I say that I'm giving Jake a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because he's looking shocked as if he did not know that they were showing up on that day as well. So either Gary and Hayden did let him in on that part of the plan, or he was just oblivious and he just works for Gary. One of the two. We'll find out. So, what I think, this is just me, what I think is that Gary started the investigation as a favor to Hayden and is also working with Zach to further get evidence against him. That's what I think. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes as well. And so yeah. So Zach has been arrested. So we'll see him getting interrogated in the next episode. We'll see everything develop. So yeah, there was a whole lot to unpack in this episode. Cameron still a hot mess. Zach finna go back to jail. Q, he gonna end up knocking Maurice, either down or upside the head. One of the two at this particular point. So that is it. I don't even make no promises for next week because we know how this goes. All right, so I will catch y'all in the next video. If you feel like dropping in the comments, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.